Hello, my name is Nick. I hail from New Jersey, but I have lived here a considerable part of my life. Here I also found my happiness and a second home. In previous episodes, I told you how I came to Kazakhstan for the first time, how I decided to return to live and work here, how I was looking for my only one, how I met my friends. I studied Kazakh and Russian languages, and in my opinion, I made headways. Nice to meet you. Yes, this is my real story, and today you'll have a surprise because I decided to tell you at last my main secret, how I met my destiny and how drastically my life changed from the moment I met my stranger. In other words, today you will learn about my real life. And the first thing I wanted to share with you is how the shooting of this TV project really was. I hope you find it interesting. My story.
I think that this story that we're telling in this series is a lot more interesting. It connects with people's lives. A lot of it is from my life. Of course, not all of it. Some of it is added for television to make it, to tell a story. But I think that this type of series, showing the modern Kazakhstan with real people and the love story, this is going to be interesting for people.
I think I watched a little piece. I'm honest, I thought it was like a touristic show, like just praising Kazakhstan. Yes, it was surprising because some things that happened in the plot, I was like, really? Did it really happen? Was it really like that? But yeah, it was really fun. I think it was really fun. As an actor, showing the first impression of a foreigner coming here.
Really interesting for me, since I've lived in Kazakhstan for 12 years, a lot of people have asked me, can you come on TV and tell your story? Can you come onto some TV show? And I always said no. I was always like, that's not for me. I'm an English teacher. I don't need that. I don't want that. In the beginning, I didn't quite understand. But I remember when I was talking to the director of the program, and we were just discussing, and I heard her vision for the project and how she wanted to show like modern Kazakhstan, real people. But now I really understand that this program really shows what it's like to kind of get off the plane, to have those first, moments in Kazakhstan, to have that kind of like wide-eyed, like wanderlust adventure.
I saw part of one of the videos. I saw the first one where it was kind of the introduction to who Nick was, and I saw him with the post-it notes all over his apartment, various words. I know that I will probably be going to look at it at some point just to practice my Kazakh or my Russian, and then I'll be yelling at people going, I understand that! I understand that! So I know in essence what's going on and what the story is and the promotion. Yeah, I know that much.
I remember my first impressions of my arrival in the country very well. They were contradictory and ambiguous.
When we were talking to the director and we were writing this kind of series, they asked me for a lot of kind of moments of my life that were kind of funny when I first came to Kazakhstan. For example, I asked for pepperoni pizza, and can you believe that they gave me a pizza and there was a huge egg, just a fried egg in the middle of the pizza. And for me, that was like a huge shock. And I said, I ordered pepperoni. She said, yes, it's pepperoni. I said, no, pepperoni is like a sausage. It's already 2020, and it's like 15 years have passed since that first trip. It was a really interesting time, actually, in my life. I was only 18 years old. I knew I wanted to travel, but I didn't know where, so I was looking at my university's options about where I could go in the summertime. I saw that they had options for me to travel to Australia, for me to travel to Brazil, even to some African countries and to China. And then I saw that they had English teaching in Kazakhstan. And I thought, wow, English teaching in Kazakhstan, that seems really, really amazing, exotic, something different. I'd never heard about Kazakhstan before. So I started doing some research and it seemed really interesting, so I decided to do it. And they sent me to the middle of Kazakhstan called Karaganda. Karaganda. And I really liked it. It was an amazing summer. I made so many friends that I still keep in touch with to this day. I remember actually, they were warning me on the plane. They said, when you get out of the airport in Almaty, hold on to your bags. They said, don't let your bags go, because the taxi drivers, they really want to help you. It's like aggressive, and so aggressive hospitality. You know, they want to take you to the hotel. They really want to help you. And so they said, here is your first Russian word, "Нет." So just hold on to your bags and say, "Нет, нет, нет." It was in 2005, and Almaty has changed a lot. Now it's not such a big problem. When you go to the airport, they don't really bother you so much now. But in 2005, when you walked out of the airport, there was maybe 50 taxi drivers who would just come around you and try to take your bags, and you say, "No, no, нет, нет, нет." And so it was that was my first impression, was just the taxi drivers in the airport.
Taxi.
Oh, taxi, yeah, I need a taxi. Almaty Hotel. How much?
How much? $20.
No, it's expensive. Agree? $10? $10, come on. Agree?
Okay.
Oh, good,
Yes,
very
yes,
good, very
yes,
good.
okay,
Thank you
yes.
very much.
Yes, yes.
Oh, thank you. My next impression was actually in the taxi, driving in Almaty, and it was amazing at that time just how they drove, the traffic, the drivers. It was a big shock for me.
Just look at this.
What's happening? What are you doing? Where are we going?
Don't be scared.
So many cars, traffic.
So many cars, he says. Yes, your winters are snowy and beautiful.
But the thing that struck me was how hospitable Kazakhstan is and how kind and generous its people are.
My plan was to go for free all the way across Asia. So I arrived in Kazakhstan by hitchhiking. When I arrived here from China, after the border and all of this process and everything, I started walking along the main road towards Almaty, and a few guys were doing construction work, and I didn't have any water. So, and I don't know how to say water in Russian because I've never been to a Russian-speaking country, or I couldn't really remember water in Turkish, even though I lived there. And so I just showed a bottle, and sort of did this. And in China, that wouldn't work. People just look at me and go, But here, the guys were like, voda. And of course, I hear a word that sounds like water. And I'm like, yes, please. And then I got water. And from that point, everything was just a little bit easier than in China. And I got a ride in a Kamaz, in this old Soviet work truck, and with a guy who looked very much like, I don't know, a mix of East and West and everywhere. And it was quite amazing. It was like walking into a different universe.
As I already told you, in Kazakhstan it is not difficult to make friends. Now I have a lot of them. My first friend is Jibek. Meeting him left very vivid and pleasant memories of those days that we spent together in Almaty. He was my student at the English club in 2005. To this day, I keep in touch with him. Well, as for my show friends, Timur and Zak, that's a whole different story. My name is actually Timur, and I am an English teacher. Zakir is my friend too. We both started acting together. What interested me in this program was that it was in a foreign language, in English, and that was one of the main roles. This was great interest for me.
I remember actually the first time that I met Tim and Zach. I thought they were waiters in the restaurant. Zach, and he was just looking at me, and I said, like, man and Coca-Cola, please. And he just looked at me and he said, I'm your supporting actor. I said, He's like, Zach, sorry. And so that was kind of a funny start.
Отлично. По коням?
Konim, what does it mean?
Let's saddle up.
Saddle up.
Yeah.
Are you joking? Do you have horses?
Yeah, we really rode horses.
You rode horses? No way. Can you show me? Are they outside?
Yeah, they are outside.
Seriously?
Seriously?
Wow.
Don't be so naive, Nick.
Are you serious? You're just joking, yeah?
Yeah, it was a joke.
Очень приятное впечатление от Ника.
Nick made a very pleasant impression during the filming.
Во время съемок.
We were always on the same note with him. I sing old American songs and he picks up and we start singing together. From the day one, we all became friends and everything was great.
But then we became really great friends, and I think that I got more comfortable acting in front of the camera when like the other actors were there. You know, you could feel like their jokes, their energy. We were just kind of like, it was almost like we were just like playing together, having fun together, and the camera just happened to be catching it. It was fun, yeah. So how do you say cheese in Kazakh?
Ірімшік.
Ірімшік.
көңілді күлкілі жағдайларды айтатын болсам ол
If we're talking about funny situations, there were a lot of them. For example, I'm actually afraid of heights. But according to the plot of the film, I had to play the role of a man who is not afraid of heights. And Zakir, on the contrary, is not afraid in real life, but he had to show fear on camera. Moreover, crew members now and then accidentally were shot on camera. I would say that we often had to improvise. So when we were at Koktebe, we looked at the stature of the members of the Beatles band and tried to make impressions of them. It started raining and we got stuck in the rain. Besides, there were many other funny moments.
Қара, Дос Мұқасан тобы.
What is it, Dos Mukhazan? This is the Beatles!
Дос Мұқасан.
We had a lot of time, we were like laughing for half of the film day, yeah? It's so funny, you know, like different cultures, different language. Even sometimes we didn't understand each other because I speak English, I understand some Russian and like this and Kazakh language, and you know, there were some like moments that were stressful, but we always like ended up laughing and just like having a good time.
ең қиын болған дүние деп мен
The most difficult thing I had to do was to translate in two languages. English for Nick and Kazakh for Zach.
Ну что ж, отлично, по коням? Переведи. Да, ты должен перевести.
Thank you very much. Rahmet baurum kiptum. Kiptis baurum. What is it, baurum? It's liver. No, I don't need liver. Thank you, there's enough. In the filming time, it wasn't difficult for me. It was really interesting, I think. For example, when you're filming, it takes maybe 1 hour for them to put the cameras, fix the lighting, make everything ready. And then you sit and they film you for 10 seconds and it's over. And you said, only 10 seconds? We prepared for 1 hour, all the lighting, the cameras, everything. You sit down, you say maybe 2 words, and okay, next location. And for me, it's amazing. Like a lot of it is just like waiting and then finally you just film for a short period and then more waiting. So that was kind of interesting. Not bad, just not what I expected.
Можешь. Давай. Нет, нет.
Нормально.
этноауылға барған сәтте 30
When we were visiting the ethnic village, we had to put on 30-kilogram body armor and then take a shot. Thanks to this project, we saw the sights again. I remember we came into the yurt and Nick was allergic to felt, I guess. He got sick. Nick went out to have a rest, but after that, he got up anyway, did his job like a professional.
Kazakhstan is a great country, that there is a great future for this country. People who have been to other countries in the world and say, Central Asia is a place that I've never been. It's like a big, huge part of the map. Like Kazakhstan is the 9th largest country in the world. And you know, people sometimes are so surprised when they look on the map and they see this, you know, huge country and they wonder what's there. And so I think people are getting more interested nowadays. And so I hope that people will watch our series and get this kind of sense of adventure, that they can go and try it and have fun here.
And now the most important thing. Remember how in the first episode I found a diary with a photograph of a girl in a white brimmed hat? According to the plot, I got the idea to find her by any means. So there you go, I found her, and I was incredibly happy about that. This was a photograph of my Myriad, the most beautiful woman in the world, my wife and my daughter's mother. Anyway, you'll find out how it was.
I only saw the first episode, so I don't know much. But the first one was like, you found the owner of the diary, and it was Meruyert. I don't know if this is real, but like it was a fun plot that you came up with.
Throughout the series were absolutely based on my life. Not everything though. For example, when I met my wife, I didn't meet her through finding a diary on a bench. Of course, we made it more romantic, a little bit more dramatic than real life. But I think that our true story of how we met is also really amazing, and we also want to tell that. So that's actually why I'm talking to you today, because I want to share the real story about our life.
We met in Astana in 2012. My girlfriend married his friend, whose name was Alibek. And so we met at their wedding. We chatted for a year. Then he showed sympathy, and I decided to try. Why not? I remember the first time I met my wife. It was in the city of Nur Sultan. A friend of mine invited me to his wedding. I thought it was a good opportunity to see the capital city.
Meruyert came with two friends. It was the first time I met her. My friends were translating, and I said, oh, she's a really nice girl, really interesting, fun to talk to her. Then comes another wedding. My friend Majid got married, and he's a very clever guy. Maybe it was a little bit of matchmaking from him and his wife, but he chose me to be the best man in his wedding, and his wife chose Meruyert to be the maid of honor, to support her in the wedding. And so Meruyert was a maid of honor, and I was the best man. And I remember on the wedding day, we were dressed so beautifully.
We chatted for a year, then he showed sympathy, and I decided to try, why not? And a year later, he asked me on our first date, 2013, August the 1st. But the problem was that I didn't know how to speak. I only knew a few words, and somehow we communicated like that. I didn't know how we could start a relationship without a common language. She spoke only Kazakh and Russian, but I only knew English. How can I explain my feelings to her? How can I express my emotions if we don't understand each other, I thought.
I remember I was talking to my friend Daniel, and he just said, hey Nick, what do you think about Meruyert? I was like, yeah, she's beautiful, but we don't speak the same language. He's like, do you think there's chemistry there? And I said, yeah, I think there's chemistry. He said, then what are you waiting for, man? And I was like, yeah, what am I waiting for? Like, why? If I really believe that this is like our destiny, if I really believe this is like, meant to be, I should just have no fear and pursue it. So I decided to write her that night, and I wrote her, and I just said, would you like to go out and go out with me tomorrow night? And she said yes, and it was amazing. So we met, and that's another story.
I come from a traditional family, and it was unusual to date a foreigner. On the contrary, I told my friends, why do you need foreigners when we have wonderful Kazakh men? But as they say, we can plan, but God, the Most High, has His own plans.
Я хотела его познакомить с моими родителями после года отношений, потому что
I wanted to introduce him to relatives after 2 years of relationship, because we are very close in spirit and heart. That is, I even forget that he is a foreigner, because he understands me very well. And he resembles my father. Generous, educated. Of course, not everything runs smoothly from the start. The parents of my girlfriend were also cautious about her relationship with a foreigner, because she was the only daughter. We had to fight for our feelings. I am the eldest daughter. I have 2 brothers. I am the 3rd child. And my mother always had a desire to marry me, as it should be with Kazusa too, with all these customs. They didn't give consent just because they loved me so much. I knew for sure that I could not take a step back, and we patiently waited for a blessing from my parents because it was important to me.
Потому что для меня это было очень важно.
My family in America gladly accepted my decision to marry Myriad. I must say that they were very happy, but the parents of my chosen one did not give a blessing for a long time. Apparently, they were afraid of something.
They wanted to meet, they wanted to talk. At first, they didn't understand. I think they were just afraid because they were thinking like, someone from America, they maybe had some ideas what that means. But then when we finally met face to face, we said, oh, what are we scared of? You know, we talked, we had a relationship, and I remember it was a great moment because you know, we first met, they gave permission for me to marry her.
In 2015, we got married, so we had our wedding ceremony. Yes, we had a wedding, and we tried to meet all Kazakh customs. The wife's relatives were satisfied. Now we have a great relationship. In the first year, my mother said, "What was I afraid of, and why?" Now she is proud of us. She loves him very much.
And I remember her father put his arm around me. He said, you know, we just bless your marriage, and now you're going to eat a lot of kazi. And so, and it's true, I eat a lot of kazi now. And now they call me the third son. They have two sons, and now I'm like their third son. So I love my new family in Kazakhstan. I really feel like I'm a part of the family.
After the marriage, we had the biggest and joyful event, the birth of a daughter. Words cannot describe how much we waited for this. Now she already speaks several languages, sings and plays the guitar, a very musical girl, and we gave her a special name.
Назвали мы ее Ария.
We named her Aria. This name came from somewhere related to music, and she's really a very musical child. She has a middle name. In America, they give two names, and Nick wanted that. My name is Myriad, which is Pearl in English, and Nick gave her a middle name, Aria Pearl. At home, I talk to her in Russian and Kazakh. Nick reads her books in English every day, and now she and her dad speak in English, and sometimes she forgets and speaks to me in English if I don't answer in a second. She immediately translates the same sentence into Russian. She's now 3.5 years old. When my parents come, she immediately begins to speak Kazakh words.
I remember yesterday, I was talking to my daughter, just yesterday. It was very funny. And, you know, she started to understand, like we read some books, and my daughter loves to read books, and there are some Kazakh language books and some English books. And so she's like, Daddy, I want Kazakh. And I didn't understand what she meant. Like, what do you mean Kazakh? She meant like the Kazakh book. Okay, so, you know, she got the Kazakh book, and then my wife was asking her, Aria, are you Kazakh or American? Just like a joke, just to see. And she said, Daddy, I am Earth. I am Earth. Yeah, and so like, and I was like, wow. From the mouths of babes, from children, you know, like it's really true. Like, you know, she doesn't see like American or Kazakh, like we're from Earth, planet Earth together. And so I just hope that our program will help to kind of like build bridges and connect people, and that it will be really connection.
День благодарения, он очень любит этот праздник.
We celebrate Thanksgiving. He loves this holiday very much. We surely cook a 10-kilogram turkey. We invite friends and relatives. He called the whole team, made an amazing delicious turkey. It was Thanksgiving, which we combined with Christmas. He cooks very well. He marinated the turkey for 3 days. Of course, it was delicious. I remember the day we got married. It was November, and Thanksgiving is the last Thursday in November. We just got married. We invited our parents. He cooked a turkey. You know we eat mutton, but he put a turkey in front of Dad. And Dad says, "This leg is for you, this leg is for you." And it was interesting. Nick not only teaches well, but also cooks deliciously. Now we cook together. But when the guests come to visit, he tries to cook something unusual. Italian lasagna, Chinese or American cuisine. Nick always wants to surprise my parents. He says, "So, they know pilaf, beshbarmak. We need to cook something unusual, and we always try to surprise our relatives. For the past 5 years. Soon my wife and I decided to start a joint business. She even sacrificed her job, where she worked for 7 years.
Я всегда поддерживаю его.
I always support him if he likes it, if he wants it.
Хочется.
This is how our language school started. We work and teach English there to this day. We now have partners, friends, and associates.
Found a very nice girl, can't praise her enough. I think Meruyert, his wife is a very nice girl. And Nick is also a very good friend, good professional, like trustworthy person, laid back.
Nick is a very welcoming person for any business, for any project. He always starts it with such enthusiasm, with burning desire, and he's always good at it. Probably, I guess, his success lies in this.
He is a fantastic boss. He's very understanding, and it brings me much joy to be a member of this organization, and coming to work every day is just wonderful. I enjoy my colleagues and my students, and the opportunities to learn more about the diverse opinions and perspectives of the Kazakh people.
He plans everything in advance, and it always comes as a surprise to me. You know, throughout all the filming, my wife really supported me, inspired me. She was glad that I tell people about her homeland. One friend of ours said that she saw the program and started viewing Kazakhstan differently. My relatives, my sisters, are sending us texts. Nick Zhizde is on TV. Nick Zhizde is on TV. And my mother asks, where?
I learned Kazakh language through this series. I remember on our wedding day, my promise to my mother-in-law was that I would learn Kazakh in the next year. And I remember she asked me, actually I thought she forgot, but she asked me. And I said, yes, I learned a couple of words. And so actually I understand Kazakh a lot now. And it's really weird that sometimes when I'm sitting with my wife's family, when we're having dinner, all the jokes, like I laugh and it's like, I don't even realize. It's like I'm following the conversation. I can't translate it word for word, but I'm getting the jokes, I'm following the conversation. It's interesting, you know? I think I know a lot more Kazakh actually, like almost intuitively now. It's like it's in my heart, you know?
Я не знала, что у него есть качество актерства.
I didn't know that he could act, but I know that he's very creative. He plays the guitar, plays the bass. He can just sit, play and write a song. He has a whole notebook where he writes lyrics. But I personally, not a very public person myself. However, he told me a week ago, if you don't want to give an interview, then another woman will be put next to me. I say, well, if this is so, then I cannot let this happen. I will participate in the interview. And now I want to share my thoughts. Myriad and I found each other and we are happy. And now time of globalization, marriages are occurring between people from different countries, sometimes from different parts of the world. Their cultures have no common roots. They do not know each other's language. And yet it happens more and more often. I'm sure this is a good sign because people have learned to erase conventional and linguistic boundaries and find common ground in something else. Love makes the world go round, and it's just wonderful.
Every family makes their own culture. They make their own kind of beliefs and values. So for us as a family that has Kazakh values and American values, and we celebrate some traditions that are Kazakh, we celebrate some traditions that are American. My daughter loves it. We celebrate all of the holidays. We celebrate Nowruz and Christmas and New Year, and we celebrate all of the holidays in Kazakhstan. We always invite friends. We go to the Kazakh toys. It's good for every family to make those decisions together. Husband and wife, for their children and the children's children.
In our relationship, we're not just husband and wife. We're very close friends. We are all discussing, consulting, planning. And I believe our relationship is God-given. We're very happy, and our parents are happy. Here's a true story about travel, about a new homeland, about love, family, work, emotions, impressions. All this happened to me, and all this was given to me by this country. And every time meeting a new day of my life, I say with gratitude, hello Kazakhstan. I wish all of us peace and kindness in the new year.
С Новым годом!